wrote a couple things on mine that I needed.
The script is so good, I need to.
Oh, that's good.
After this many years, okay. So are we handing people flowers and trophies? Okay.
You want me to do the trophy? You can do the flowers. Whichever, either. They were a little bit. Actually, I don't think they can. One lady.
Oh. Patty can do anything. You should get to know her.
Oh, I'd like to. I had her a couple of times, but okay. You start on time, man. So I just want to make sure the honorees are.
Patty, spin your bag. There's Leslie.
Winning is sitting.
Thank you. I'm sorry.
Hi, everyone. We're going to get started. Welcome to the 42nd Annual Delaware Women's Hall of Fame. I'm Melanie Ross-Levin, Director of the Office of Women's Advancement and Advocacy. Joining me tonight is Kay Keenan, Chair of the committee, and together we will MC this evening's program. To kick off the evening, it's my pleasure to welcome back Girl Scout Troop number 562 for the presentation of the colors. Since we last saw Troop 562, they have been awarded the Bronze Award, the third highest honor a Girl Scout can achieve, for their outstanding work in creating court care bags for Child Inc. To learn more about their remarkable community service project, please check out their posters located in the back of the ballroom. Following the colors presentation, we will have the national anthem sung by Grace Otley.
Good evening. Please stand for the presentation of the colors. Girl Scouts, attention. Color guard, attention. Color guard, advance. Color guard, present your colors. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Grace Otley, Miss Delaware, to sing our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that the flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the brave and the home of the brave.
Color guard, post your colors. Color guard, dismissed.
Thank you to troop number 562. You did a fantastic job. And thank you to Grace for lending us her talents tonight. We wish her the best as she moves on to her new role at the Government Information Center. Our heartfelt gratitude goes to the event sponsors. Please join me in thanking them for making tonight's event possible. Ladies and gentlemen, let's extend our sincere gratitude to all the officials who took the time to attend this event. Please join me in recognizing our officials who are in attendance this evening. I also wanted to mention that we are so pleased to partner once again with the Junior League of Wilmington to collect feminine hygiene products, supporting their Stand Up Period campaign. The Junior League of Wilmington has done an amazing job not only collecting and distributing products to Delawareans in need, but also raising awareness about period equity. Thank you to everyone who contributed to today's collection. We appreciate your support.
Good evening. And I would also like to thank my fellow members of the Delaware Women's Hall of Fame Committee, who, along with the Office of the Women's Advancement and advocacy staff, and volunteers worked very hard to put this event together. Please join me in thanking them for their efforts. At this time, I would like to call on Lieutenant Governor Bethany Hall Long to honor our past members of the Delaware Women's Hall of Fame.
Okay. She said, stand up, sit down for those who are past honorees is gone, but I'm going to have them maybe wave their hand at some point. We'll do that. Okay. Well, good evening. I don't know about you, but when I came into the patio this evening, I felt such remarkable, incredible energy. And I know for the men in the room who like the Phillies, we're so glad you're here and haven't left. I just have to start with that remark. But in sincerity, I just know as I look at the women in this room, those who have been honorees in the past and those that we are honoring this evening, let's take a moment to reflect. Half of our population, not only in Delaware, but across this United States, are women. And many of these, okay, there you go, that deserves applause, are women. But I want you to think about it, and it's a fact. We may be half the population, but we have to work twice as hard to often have recognition, twice as hard to be taken seriously, and we often have to recognize that in that moment, what happens, it makes us stronger. And we get different adjectives, but what that is, ladies, is we're resilient, we know how to stand up, and we know how to do what? Get things done. And I'm in a room looking at women who get things done, both from the past and the future and the current honorees. And you think about it, going back, many of the honorees, because we're here for the 42nd year, many historically have had to fight for the right to vote, the right for equal rights, the right for equal pay, right? The right for reproductive rights. That should get a prize. And if you think about it, you know, we have been fighting for generations to not only have a seat at the table, but to be the head of the table. So think, ladies, think. And I'm looking at a room of individuals who have been in those scenarios and understand. And as I think about honoring, and I want to say a warm appreciation to Melanie and to Kay. They go out every year in so many programs and are incredibly important to making sure that we've had years of celebration. And to the host committee, the committee this evening, that 42 years, not everyone is still with us. But we honor those who brought us from the history to the present. And as I look around the room at some of those who are past winners, let's wave. Big wave to the past honorees. We have educators, we have artists, we have elected officials, we have nonprofit leaders, we have judges, we have doctors, we have company activists, we have abolitionists and suffragists, and we even had, more recently, a Holocaust survivor. Serious issues for women. So we've got trailblazers who are fearless, and some of those we're going to get to honor tonight, and we're going to hear from them. But from our fearless trailblazers, just a little history lesson. Many of you in here, I won't say who serve on the Historic Society, could do a wonderful job of some of the best names in Delaware, but they're on part of this list, and they're part of the future. They led us, Dr. Hanby, first medical doctor to specialize in pediatrics. Those of you from Kent County know our famous astronomer, right? Annie Jump, right? Cannon. And for many of us who have also followed the black woman, the second lawyer in this United States who fought anti-slavery, Marianne Shade Carey from Delaware. This is like a big deal. And tonight, for those who raised their hand who have been past honorees, thank you for coming back and celebrating with our incredible state partners. I know you'll hear in a moment from our governor and our first lady the importance of the state, but half of us in this room, over half, are the leaders into the future of this state. And I just say very succinctly, I won't tell a story on each because Kay's keeping time behind me, but I sincerely, to Patty, to Paulette, to Lynn, to Bonnie, to Leslie. You inspire us. You inspire us. And I just say a deep, warm appreciation on behalf of all other elected women who aren't able to speak tonight, who are present in this room. Thank you for what you do to change Delaware, and congratulations, and thank you to the family members who have come, because we don't do these journeys alone. So thank you to family, congratulations to all the past, and I look forward to hearing the stories of these remarkable women. Thank you, Kay, and thank you, Melanie.
Thank you so much.
We don't have a script at our counter right now, so we're a little confused who came next. Thank you, Bethany Hall Long, for your continued support of the Delaware Women's Hall of Fame. She's been here every 6 years that I've been here coming. And over the course of our 42-year history, you know, we've honored women across the state with a wide variety of fields. You saw the wave of hands of who was here tonight, and I'm now pleased to present our next speakers, who need little introduction, and if I said much more, I would get in trouble. Our governor, John Carney, his spouse, but I call her my friend. You know, we've had to work on what Tracy wanted to be called all along, so Tracy Quillen Carney, who will provide welcoming remarks. Thank you.
Kay whispered to me, we have a Phillies game to go watch. I can guarantee you that I am married to the biggest Philly fan in this room. Let me just tell you. And it's my responsibility tonight, my piece of this program, which is to introduce my wonderful wife, Tracy Quillen. But before I do that, I want to recognize all the past recipients. And I can't single them all out, but if I may take a moment of gubernatorial privilege, I would like to single out one of my favorites, which is Reba Hollingsworth, 97 years young. 97 years young. She's amazing. She's amazing, and of course, all the women, past recipients, and the 5 women that we recognize tonight are just as impressive and have made significant impacts on our Delaware community. They did it in a very selfless way. They're trailblazers in so many ways, and people like Reba really paved the way. My Hall of Famer is Tracy Quillen, our First Lady. She has been a little bit conflicted about what to be called. She didn't quite like the term First Lady. Early on, when we were at a National Governors Association meeting, somebody referred to her as the First Lady, and a little girl came up to her and said, if you're the First Lady, you got to be really old. I think that was the end of the First Lady thing. But she has done incredible work for our state around mental health and dealing with the needs of children in a very compassionate way, and she keeps me on my toes with all of that. She is unquestionably the biggest Philly fan in the room, and she's my Hall of Famer, Tracy Quillen.
This is one of those times where if I was smart, I would sit down and let you believe I'm that person. But I'm not that smart. So thank you for that lovely introduction. Thank you to Melanie and your team, the Hall of Fame committee, for the privilege of this podium. A special thanks to my friend Kay Keenan. If you don't know, this is Kay's last Hall of Fame as chair. She's moving, she and Brian are moving to be closer to family. So I just want to say Kay has been such an effective leader, an inspirational leader in our state for the Women's Hall of Fame, the Fund for Women, and much more. Thank you, Kay, for getting me into all kinds of good trouble. And to Brian for putting up with us. I will miss you, and so will Delaware. Thanks to the scouts and leaders of Troop 562. I'm wondering why I can't see this. I don't have my glasses on. There we go. Thanks to the scouts and leaders of Troop 562 for your service tonight, and to the vulnerable children and families of our state. And to our friend Grace, who could not have a more fitting name. Congratulations to all the honorees, with the thanks of all Delawareans, whether they know or not how indebted we are to you. One of the things I especially value about this award is that it recognizes more than the first line of your bio. Those first line accomplishments and contributions certainly deserve tribute, and again, thanks. And the award also recognizes journeys, fueled by a too often unrecognized, even by ourselves, power of women. I don't know how many of you have looked at the grading rubric for the Delaware Women's Hall of Fame nominations. It's got two parts. One, achievements made a lasting contribution to the state, nation, and/or world. And two, compelling story. I know as someone who has spent a lot of time focusing on words that I'm a little biased, but I do believe that stories matter, and not just the parts associated with traditional measures of prestige. The provocative classicist Mary Beard suggests thinking about power as, quote, the ability to be effective, to make a difference in the world, and the right to be taken seriously, as Lieutenant Governor mentioned, together as much as individually. It's power in that sense that many women feel they don't have and that they want. We're all friends, so I'm going to use first names, plus it'll lessen the chances of my mangling anybody's last name. Patty makes sure that family law holds its rightful place at the center of a profession whose noblest history lies in public service. Bonnie ensures that practical skills are taken seriously as an interwoven thread of the highest academic standards while elevating the essential role of teachers. It's right in the description of Paulette's work on behalf of survivors of domestic violence. She, quote, repeatedly used her voice to ensure that those in power heard from those usually left unheard. And also right in there, with all the accolades and national councils and the CEO job and fundraising genius, Leslie List, devoted mom and doting nanny. Between Lynn's appointment to an NFL committee and Research God Status Merit Award, we learned that beginning with her late husband's 15-year battle with ALS, she has been a leading advocate for patients and their families. Every chapter of such lives deserves respect and contributes to compelling stories, both individual and shared. You represent women as CEOs, moms, PhDs, caregivers, empathetic advocates for the vulnerable, devoted teachers of the next generation with the ability to be effective and make a difference in the world, not just as ceiling busters, but as designers of new structures, builders of a future that may never be ideal, but that we can make damn sure rests on a foundation of fundamental values, including respect and a voice for all. Congratulations, thank you again. Go Women's Hall of Fame, and go Phillies.
Thank you, Governor Carney and first spouse, Tracy Quillen Carney. Short note, I always make her two name tags, one that says first spouse and one that says first lady. And the rubric is all K. Our first honoree is Patricia Daly Lewis. Patricia Daly Lewis is a remarkable figure in the field of child protection. A practicing attorney, Patty was previously Deputy Attorney General with the Delaware Department of Justice, and until her retirement, following a distinguished 30-year career, served as the Director of the Family Division. Patty worked in the field of family and child advocacy, domestic violence, the protection of vulnerable adults and the elderly, and consumer protection. She has practiced in all Delaware courts, including the Supreme Court of Delaware and the United States District Court for the District of Delaware. She also is admitted to the Supreme Court of the United States. As Chief Executive Officer of the Beau Biden Foundation for the Protection of Children, Patty has harnessed her decades of experience to lead a nationally renowned organization focused on preventing child abuse. Her multifaceted approach encompasses educating both adults and children, nurturing the next generation of child welfare professionals, and advocating for stronger child protection laws across the United States. Let's hear more about Patricia's incredible dedication through those that know her best.
When I think about Patty and I think of the role model that she's been as a leader to me personally, as a member of the Delaware community more broadly, I think about the enthusiasm that she brings to her position. During my internship at the Delaware Department of Justice, we were talking in her office and she spoke about what a privilege it was to serve in this role and to every day be able to walk into the office and know that she's helping better the lives of children and their families. And that really stuck with me. I mean, Patty had been a deputy attorney general for decades at that point, and yet she was so committed, so enthusiastic about her role, and knew the impact that she was making on other people.
How I really got to know Patty was there was a few days that we had in the office where we actually just got to sit in the office, or we didn't have to be in court. So on one of those Fridays in winter, Patty popped into my office, and I was excited to see her, but I was like, oh, what happened? What's going on? And she said, come with me, you're gonna come with me to court today. And I went with her to this adoption proceeding, and it really...
All right, we're gonna start it over.
When I think about Patty and I think of the role model that she's been as a leader to me personally, as a member of the Delaware community more broadly, I think about the enthusiasm that she brings to her position. During my internship at the Delaware Department of Justice, we were talking in her office and she spoke about what a privilege it was to serve in this role and to every day be able to walk into the office and know that she's helping better the lives of children and their families. And that really stuck with me. I mean, Patty had been a deputy attorney general for decades at that point, and yet she was so committed, so enthusiastic about her role, and knew the impact that she was making on other people.
How I really got to know Patty was there was a few days that we had in the office where we actually just got to sit in the office, or we didn't have to be in court. So on one of those Fridays in winter, Patty popped into my office, and I was excited to see her, but I was like, oh, what happened? What's going on? And she said, come with me, you're gonna come with me to court today. And I went with her to this adoption proceeding, and it really changed the course of my career path, because it was that experience and talking with Patty, walking over to court and seeing this wonderful proceeding that really inspired hope and optimism in the judicial process for me.
That was the first lens through which I saw the justice system, was this sincere care for the people who were the parties in a case.
To go back and look at her work and advocating for change after that Earl Bradley case. Patty led the way in that effort in making sure that we would have strong laws here in Delaware, better laws in Delaware to protect children. But it's not just those cases, handling the bigger work of drafting legislation and in getting that done. To this day, victims of Earl Bradley contact Patty and talk to her. She's very personal in the way that she conducts herself and the way she advocates for children. So she can handle that one-on-one while also changing and creating better policies. So I think that's a really unique person that can do both of those things. Sometimes you have folks that are really good on the one-on-one and the personal relationships and working different issues that way, while others will handle the policy efforts or legislative efforts. Patty does both of those things so well, and so she's been a great mentor to me in that way, to watch her work and see how much she's accomplished.
Because of her unwavering dedication to protecting children from harm, we present this award and officially induct Patricia Daly Lewis into the Delaware Women's Hall of Fame.
So I'm going to get close to the microphone, but I'm pretty loud, so I'm a little bit afraid to let go of this for too long. Thank you, everyone, for being here tonight, and a special thanks to the women who went before me, who went before us. Tracy, you said something I thought that was so important, and that it doesn't just start here. And it's not about our accomplishments, though the people that are inducted with me tonight, I know you each personally. I have learned from you. I have seen you do amazing things, and I'm honored by that. I think it would help you a little bit to know about where I came from. I'm the second oldest of 8 children. After my mother came home from the hospital with my last sister, her 8th child, my father died. And there she was with 8 children under the age of 13 and no job. But we had things that other people didn't have because we had a solid belief in ourselves and in helping other people. We were told from the earliest age that you are to stand up and speak out for those who are in need. And that carried me through my life. So it never mattered to me if I was in family court with Paulette, and Paulette and I spent a lot of time in family court together. If I was dealing with famous people or people that had nothing, because people needed our help. So as I reflect tonight, I just want to read this to you. Once upon a time, there was a man walking the beach. He looked down the beach and saw a dancer. As he got closer, he noticed this young woman reaching down, picking things up off the shore and throwing them into the ocean. He came closer and he called out to her, "Good morning. May I ask what you are doing?" The young woman paused and looked at him and replied, "Well, I'm throwing starfish back into the ocean." The man was quizzical. "Why are you throwing starfish into the ocean?" he asked. To this, the young woman replied, "Well, the sun is up now. The tide is going out, and if I don't throw them back in, they'll die." Upon hearing this, the man commented, "But dear, don't you realize how many starfish there are? There are miles and miles of beach. Do you know how many starfish are here today? You can't possibly make a difference." At this, the young woman bent down, picked up another starfish, and threw it into the ocean. As the starfish met the water, she said, "It made a difference for that one." So I proudly stand here today, the daughter of someone who raised 8 children and raised us to believe it was important to make a difference, no matter how small, for everyone. And now I may have a minute of personal privilege? Absolutely. To tell you that today is the birthday of Representative Krista Griffith. And everyone who knows me knows there is nothing more I like to do than to sing. So will you join me in a rousing chorus of happy birthday? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Krista. Happy birthday to you. Thank you all so much. Now, if you think it was fun watching me come up there, wait till you watch us go down. Because this little thing is steep and this little thing gets going. Be ready, Alex. Alex? Larry? Look at my husband, how wonderful he is.
Okay, let's not all watch her go down. Take a deep breath instead. Thank you, Patty. And now I've got the mic out. Oh, not good. Okay. Our second nominee is Dr. Bonnie Mazeris. In the realm, I'm not sure if that's for Bonnie or for Patty, almost down. In the realm of economics and personal finance education, Bonnie stands as a true example of inspiration and expertise, having dedicated an illustrious 50-year career to shaping the way educators impart these critical subjects to students of all ages. As an assistant professor of economics at the University of Delaware and the associate director for the University of Delaware's Center for Economic Education and Entrepreneurship, she meticulously coordinated and delivered professional learning programs for teachers. Perhaps the most compelling testament to her enduring legacy is the establishment of a prestigious award in her honor. In 2019, the University of Delaware Center for Economic Education and Entrepreneurship introduced the Mazeris Economic Educator of the Year Award, a fitting tribute to the educators in Delaware who have demonstrated a sustained dedication to economic education. More recently, in 2023, the National Association of Economic Educators introduced the Mazeris Curriculum Leadership Award, presented to educators who have excelled in developing K-12 economic curricular resources. Let's learn more about Bonnie's amazing accomplishments.
Bonnie Mazeros was the first field consultant in the entire economic education network, and she's got awards named after her. She's got papers published in the American Economic Review. She has written a variety of research, pedagogy. She's been in national committees for standards on economics and personal finance.
Her primary role is teaching teachers to teach economics. She doesn't preach. She shares what she knows. She pulls out of you every little bit of knowledge you have to use. And she's just so supportive.
She's been the one that really started the movement of going into classrooms, working with teachers, providing them with resources, making sure that she was a point of contact when they needed help, and then providing student competitions and other programming for students. And the amazing thing about her is that after 50 years of doing this, she still comes back to the office after a workshop with teachers or students, and the same thing always happens. She goes, oh, it was amazing. The teachers were engaged, love working with the students. And it just is a testament of how devoted she is and how much passion she has for economic education.
I think it's a really realistic way to learn to make wise decisions. You don't really learn it all the time reading or in science. A lot of times you're just taking in information. And I think that the decision-making is the critical part of economics.
And so I think people look at her as the person that knows everything that there is to know about how to teach economics, how to reach students, how to put programs together. And that's her legacy. And it's not only in the state of Delaware. For over 40 years, we've had a Master of Arts in Economics and Entrepreneurship here at the University of Delaware, and she's the only person who has gone through every single student, more than 500 graduates of that program from all over the United States and internationally that have participated in it. And they are still in contact with her, is still asking for advice, and she graciously gives up her time to help them. So her impact is just unmeasurable.
We induct Dr. Bonnie Mazeris into the Delaware Women's Hall of Fame.
Thank you, I appreciate it. Oh, wow. Good evening, Governor Carney. I was going to say First Lady, but I guess I should say First Spouse and guests. This is such an unexpected honor. When Kay called me, I'm sure she thought it was a little strange that I didn't show more excitement or enthusiasm, but honestly, Kay, I was shocked that I was being recognized and included with such a group of outstanding women. Quite frankly, when I look at this year's group of honorees and past recipients, I feel like a bit of an imposter. Their credentials and accomplishments are impressive. So how did I get here? In a field of economic education. Leaving college, my career goal was not, and I repeat, not to work in the field of economics. No way. My passion was history. I had always wanted to be a history teacher, and I had a job in the Columbus Public Schools teaching history. But my husband, who worked for Congolium at the time, was transferred to a plant in Marcus Hook, and we landed in Delaware. The school year had already started, so I substituted, and I didn't enjoy that. I then took a job in the secretarial pool at DuPont, a secretarial pool, as a typist, which I enjoyed even less. Finally, the following fall, I began teaching U.S. history to middle school students in Wilmington, Delaware. I was set, or so I thought. Then I received a letter in the mail from the State Department of Education that said I was not qualified, I was not certified, because I had never taken an economics course. My thought was, you've got to be kidding. I went to UD that summer and took an econ class designed for teachers. The good news was, at that time, you could go to the University of Delaware as a teacher in the summer, tuition-free. The bad news was I didn't want to be there. My mindset was to take notes, pass the exams, and move on. Fortunately, I had a young professor, Jim O'Neill, who opened my eyes to the importance of teaching K-12 students economics. Jim taught me economics, but he was a strong believer that just because you know economics doesn't mean you can teach it. He provided those of us in the class with ideas on how to make economics relevant to our students. So I returned to the classroom excited about weaving economics into my American history class. And then in 1974, Jim offered me a position at the center, which started me on a career path that I never imagined for myself. In fact, I wasn't sure I wanted to leave the classroom, but in my husband's words, "Are you nuts? This is a wonderful opportunity for you." I was young, unsure of myself, but Jim and others around me saw potential in me and had confidence in me that I didn't have in myself. And it was through his mentorship and that of many others that I am here today. Over the course of my 50-year career, I have had incredible experiences and opportunities. As you heard, I became the first field consultant, a model that is now replicated across the country. I led a national effort to develop economic standards, working on a children's TV show, teaching internationally in Ukraine, Russia, and other countries in the early 90s when they were struggling to find their path forward after the breakup of the Soviet Union. But by far, my most rewarding experiences has been working with teachers here in Delaware. And as Carlos said, when I come back to the office and they ask me about the PD I just did, my response is always, I just work with the most amazing group of teachers. My work with these teachers has given me great faith in Delaware schools, and I'm thankful for their willingness to work with me, invite me into their classroom, and for making me a better educator. None of us accomplish what we do without the support of many people. And I've had my share of mentors and supporters. When I went to my first Econ Ed conference in 1975, there were 5 women and a room full of white male economists. Today, that's changed, and I like to think I provided many of those women with the kind of guidance that I received all through my career. My advice to young women today is to be willing to take chances, grab onto new opportunities, because you never know where those opportunities will lead you. After all, who would have thought a history major would fall in love with economics? So I need to thank Congolium for bringing us to Delaware, to Delaware's Department of Education for forcing me to take an economics course, to Jim O'Neill, who couldn't be here tonight, who launched my career, to my amazing daughter, Morgan, who helped me to navigate the world of being a parent and having a career, and my husband of 55 years, Craig, for his support, encouragement, and unwavering belief in my capabilities. None of us do what we do because we expect accolades or honors. Having said that, I am deeply honored and grateful for this recognition. Thank you.
Thank you, Bonnie. I think I heard 4 governor cackles from that one. So that was pretty good, right? 5? Okay, well, that's pretty good. Our third honoree is Paulette Sullivan Moore. She's got a few fans here tonight, I think. Paulette is a trailblazer and a true advocate for justice, having shattered barriers in Delaware's legal and advocacy landscape. Notably, she holds the distinction of being Delaware's first African-American female attorney, a milestone achieved upon her admission to the Delaware Bar in 1977. In 1989, Paulette achieved another groundbreaking first when she was elected as the Newcastle County Recorder of Deeds, making her the first African-American person to secure a county-wide position in Newcastle County. Her election was a testament to her resilience, dedication, and unwavering determination. Notably, Paulette's contributions extend far beyond legal practice. She spent a decade as the Director of Public Policy at the Delaware Coalition Against Domestic Violence and reached beyond state borders as she took her powerful voice to the national network to end domestic violence, serving as Vice President of Public Policy. Her work led to significant improvements in the 2013 reauthorization of the Violence Against Women Act, expanding survivor services and strengthening funding for organizations across the United States. Let's learn more about her remarkable accomplishments.
My mom was the first Black woman to be inducted into the Delaware Bar. She also was the first Black person to be nominated to a countywide position. That meant that I spent many, many afternoons after school in the city-county building, just trudging away on legal pads, trying to occupy my time after I finished my homework. But in addition to that, she was an important person in the community. She was really busy and really involved and really engaged in trying to help everyone rise.
She's part of the history of Delaware. And I've heard Paulette say, it doesn't matter that I'm first. And that's that humility that she has. What matters is that I'm not last.
My understanding of Mommy has always been this quiet but formidable force. What that meant in childhood is that I needed to have really sound arguments for why I wanted another piece of cake or why I felt like my bedtime should be extended. But in doing all of that work, I got really good at advocating for myself. And that was one of the things that I know that Mommy had to do her entire working career, is to work to advocate for what she needed and wanted, but moreover, to do that work for other people who didn't have the voice and didn't have the platform that she's had.
She has been involved in advocating for those most marginalized inside the state, and she does that work with a deep and personal understanding of the importance of racial equity and inclusion. She does this work because she cares so much about those whose voices are often not heard. She is their advocate, and she's so passionate about it. Her impact has been profound across the state, and yet she's never sought the spotlight. What she has sought is what's right and what's just.
We are so, so proud of you. I know you don't like to talk about these things, but you have done so, so much. And on behalf of me and Darius and Carter and Kennedy and everybody who's had a chance to know and love you, congratulations. You deserve this.
Throughout her extraordinary career, Paulette Sullivan Moore has not only opened doors for countless individuals, but has also dedicated her life to advancing protections for domestic violence victims. Her legacy as an advocate, trailblazer, and champion for justice continues to inspire. For all those reasons, we induct Paulette Sullivan Moore into the Delaware Women's Hall of Fame.
Thank you, everybody. To the entire, everybody who knows me knows that I'm not a gadget person. Okay, there it is. I want to thank the entire Hall of Fame committee. Thank you, Fran. I want to especially thank the committee for permitting Senator Nancy Cook to be the one to give me the phone call. What an honor that was. I want to thank Emily and Melanie and everybody who's a part of the Women's Advancement and Advocacy Office. And I want to thank everyone who played a role in nominating me. I am so incredibly humbled by your generous accolades and plaudits. I want to thank my loving family and friends whose unwavering love and support have consistently buoyed me. I want to thank my parents, my mother, Dorothy Louise Fisher Sullivan, who provided us with Dr. Seuss books from the local supermarket and monthly volumes of Encyclopedia Britannica from the traveling salesman. I want to thank James Earl Sullivan, my father who never told me that he really wasn't my father, who taught me to count using playing cards and bottle caps and to value reading and writing by engaging in international correspondence with him while he was serving in Germany and Vietnam. I want to thank my aunts, my Aunt Liz, who's gone on, and my Aunt Brenda for their unconditional love of me. My Aunt Brenda and my Uncle Johnny are here with me tonight. They came up from Georgia, just because Delaware is a better place than Georgia. Because we have Governor Carney and smart people, and they don't have that in Georgia. I said I wouldn't be political. I'll try not to be. Although they are, it's funny, although they are only a few years older than I am, the child in me fully leans into their love and support. My curtain rod fell down, Uncle Johnny put it back up. My smoke alarm needed a battery. He said, this needed a battery the last time I was here. Why is this? He put the battery in it yesterday. To my absolutely amazing daughter, Ashley. She constantly rebirths me. I thank you for providing the direction in which I was able to point my life's compass. It's amazing how much you anchored me. I want to thank you for giving me the greatest basis for parental bragging. You are awesome. And then I want to thank you for selecting Darius, the best son-in-law any mother could ever have, and for giving me my comadre, Darius's mom. I want to thank Carter and Kennedy, my exceptional grandchildren. Thank you for proving that grandchildren are to be admired, simply loved and completely admired. To my sister Debbie, to my cosmic daughter Cece, my cousins Linda and Billy and Ioka, to my exceptional nieces Tanisha and Shalila and Alika, I want to thank you for living your lives in a way that continues to magnify the legacy of our family. To my sister friends, and all of you know who you are, I want to thank you for always providing me with a way to express sincere gratitude with wild joy. I want to thank you for giving me sage advice, a place to bitch, and a shoulder to cry on. To Sue Ryan and the entire Delaware Coalition Against Domestic Violence team, and to Carolyn Morgan and the entire Women of Color Task Force team, thank you for always championing me. To Senator Blunt Rochester, who's not here, to Governor Long, who is here, Governor Carney, I know it's not her turn yet, but I know it's coming. To Delaware Supreme Court Chief Justice Seitz, Family Court Chief Judge Arrington, Judge Coppage, and the 13 other family court judges who signed a joint nomination letter for me. To community leaders like the ACLU's and NAACP's, Mike Brickner and Kobe Owens, to Jen Cutney and Diane Postel, thank you for your kind words of nomination. Please know that all of you have made my heart swell, my eyes glow, and my spirit soar. Thank you.
Thank you, Paulette. Our fourth honoree is Leslie Newman. Leslie's journey through life has been marked by unwavering dedication to our community and a profound commitment to improving the lives of Delaware. Leslie led Children and Families First as the CEO from 2007 until her retirement in January of 2020. Under her leadership, Children and Families First grew into a statewide social service agency, offering a comprehensive array of services for children and families, including family foster care, adoption, child welfare prevention, school-based mental health counseling, and community schools. Leslie's commitment to innovation and collaboration led it to become nationally recognized and award-winning organization. As CEO, Leslie championed the introduction of the Nurse Family Partnership in Delaware, a program known for its exceptional outcome for infants and parents, as well as the introduction of functional family and therapy to Delaware, a family therapy program designed to reduce teens entering into foster care. Leslie's contribution to the Delaware community extends far beyond her responsibilities of Children and Families First. Leslie has frequently been called upon to serve on numerous work groups and committees, as well as several boards, including the Delaware Public Media and the Milton and Hattie Cutts Foundation. Let's learn more about Leslie's inspiring work.
Leslie actually gives you confidence about yourself. She could talk me into anything. If she believes in it, I know it's a good cause and I trust her.
Leslie is a force of nature. She is incredibly persuasive. She's very committed to whatever she's working on. She's very passionate about the work that we did at Children and Families First and all of the work that she's done in the community.
I always felt like she had a crystal ball. She always seemed to know what the community needed.
One of the things that Leslie worked on earlier in her career was helping get school-based wellness centers started in many, many high schools throughout the state. She was able to be in every community, having conversations, really persuading people how important it was for students to be able to access healthcare at school. And those school-based health centers still exist today. They've expanded since the 90s when they first started. At Children and Families First, she was a passionate advocate for home visiting for pregnant and parenting folks. And those services are still going strong and continue to grow every year and really help folks achieve healthy birth outcomes, help kids achieve their developmental goals, and that's a legacy that she certainly leaves behind.
She would learn about a program, and in this case, in our family partnership, which is evidence-based, and she would research it, and she would see if it did fit our needs in our community. She just makes it happen. She somehow just knew this was the right thing at the right time. And it really was before it was sort of the buzzword in the community.
When you work with Leslie, you catch that passion, you catch that infectious spirit for the work, and really want to do whatever you can to help bring those goals to life, whatever it is that she's working on.
She makes you want to have a larger impact, a larger footprint. She makes you feel like there's so much more you can do.
For her years of serving as a champion of Delaware's children and for her leadership in driving systematic change to the child welfare services, we are pleased to induct Leslie Newman into the Delaware Women's Hall of Fame. Congratulations.
In my lifetime, and I know I'm sounding old, I have seen dramatic changes in the role and lives of women. As the first in my family to go to college, I was counseled to become a teacher or a nurse, just in case. This advice came from a mother who was bold for her time selling commercial real estate on Long Island, and a dad who was very happy to have the extra income coming in. If they could see me now. Times have certainly changed. Looking at the women who are being inducted tonight, it is apparent that women can and do accomplish great things. I'm honored to be among them. We in Delaware are very lucky in so many ways. We live in a state that has been recognizing the accomplishments of women for more than 40 years. During that time, our state has acknowledged so many women who have contributed to their families, communities, and to Delaware. Tonight, I stand with 4 women who are not strangers. I have worked with each of them. Where else would that happen? Together, we have touched the lives of many Delawareans working on issues that are important to each of us. Doing this work in partnership with wonderful people enhances the experience. However, there are still challenges in being an accomplished woman. In an op-ed piece this summer entitled, "Women Know Exactly What They're Doing When They Use Weak Language" by Dr. Adam Grant, the author reminds us that in the United States and in many cultures, gender stereotypes still hold. Men should be dominant and assertive, while women should be kind and caring. The author goes on to say that when women violate these stereotypes, they can be seen as abrasive. However, it turns out that women who use weak language when they ask for raises are more likely to get them. These women reinforced the supervisor's authority and avoided the impression of arrogance. For men who asked for a raise, weak language neither helped nor hurt. We women are smart cookies and have figured out that if we are perceived as intelligent and capable, determined and achievement-oriented, independent and self-reliant, we are more promotable to leadership positions. We also figured out that using language that is more tentative works. However, our goal should be to change the status quo so that promotions and raises are based upon performance rather than gender-based characteristics. Women are perceptive and can read the room. We have accomplished much, certainly growing to be a nurse or a teacher because we want to, not just in case. However, there is much more to be done. It is all of our jobs to be role models and encourage young women to dream big. My 5-year-old granddaughter will tell you she is strong and she can do anything. While I'm so proud of her for real change, we must also teach our sons and grandsons as well. I am so proud of my sons and their wives who work so hard in their relationships, careers, and their parenting. They are modeling so that their children, my grandchildren, both male and female, will grow to be who and what they want to be. For nearly 30 years, I worked at Children and Families First, an organization that lives its name and principles. I value the partnerships that Children and Families First developed with other nonprofits, foundations, government, and the business community. My colleagues,
some here tonight, and I have worked to prevent abuse, intervene when there's risk, and treat those who had significant trauma. Our goal is to help children grow up so they can lead productive, happy lives and continue that trajectory with their children and community. I am proud of the part that I have played to bring model programs to Delaware and encourage a love of learning that continues to feed innovation and growth today under the capable leadership of Kirsten Olson. I have been and continue to be an active volunteer as well. I have held leadership positions at the Jewish Federation of Delaware, where we seek to promote positive relationships within and between communities. And I have volunteered at the Delaware Community Foundation that has a focus on equity. In addition to those two organizations, I'm currently involved with the Lewis Library, Delaware Public Media, and Seaside Jewish Community. My love of learning has continued through these varied volunteer opportunities, as well as Osher Lifelong Learning. Real change has happened, but it behooves women and those who love women to be proactive to build on this progress. Complacency is not acceptable. Women in other countries made gains only to see them evaporate when political climates changed. We must work together to continue our growth trajectory. I have been fortunate to have the support of wonderful friends and family who often tease me for my many activities. And key in my life is a loving spouse. Bill was the executive director of LaSalle School in Albany, where trauma-informed care was integrated into all they did for boys who were involved in the child welfare system. With our shared background and experience, he gets me. We share values, a love of travel, and family, as well as an appreciation for beautiful sunsets in Lewis. And importantly, he believes women can do anything and supports me in everything I do. How lucky can you get? Thank you for this recognition.
Thank you, Leslie. Our final nominee tonight is Dr. Lynn Snyder-Mackler. Lynn's name is synonymous with pioneering research and transformational contributions to the fields of physical therapy and sports medicine. She is a driving force behind the University of Delaware's physical therapy graduate program's ascension to the #1 ranked program in the country. As the world's preeminent ACL rehabilitation expert, Lynn has been enlisted to help some of the world's elite Olympic and Hall of Fame athletes expedite their recoveries. While caring for international stars, Lynn has also continued to dedicate significant time to treat and rehabilitate Delaware high school and college athletes. In 2015, she received the highest honor in her profession, the Mary McMillan Lecture Award from the American Physical Therapy Association. Beyond her professional achievements, Lynn has immersed herself in local community service. She became a tireless advocate for families facing ALS as her husband Scott battled the disease for 15 years until his passing in 2013. She continues to work with families dealing with ALS and MND worldwide. Lynn has served on numerous boards, including the Delaware Pro-Choice Medical Fund, University of Delaware Hillel, and the Governor's Council on Lifestyles and Fitness. Let's learn more about Dr. Snyder-Mackler's incredible achievements.
Sports has been central to my mom's life from a very early age. She was an All-American lacrosse player in college at Johns Hopkins. And then she was able to find a profession and find a niche in an area that combined the two things she loves the most, which is scientific research and sports. And we've had sports and athletics around us for as long as I've been alive.
I think Lynn's idea in terms of that we would help to provide a scientifically based, evidence-based practice. Up to that, at that time, we were like probably one of the earlier generations where we were physical therapists and academically trained in terms of all having PhDs.
This is a giant industry now that was basically nothing 40 years ago. And when you think about what the university has become, that was a brand new department with a handful of people who had a vision and passion and work ethic, and they have turned it into the best physical therapy department in the country and one of the crown jewels of our flagship university here in Delaware.
Almost every athlete gets hurt at some point in their career, I think you know that, and they need to be rehabilitated. And there was so much confusion about the best way to do that. And I think, and so many other questions as well, that actually Lynn has had a tremendous impact in terms of answering those questions. In research, it takes years from doing lots of really basic things to turn it into a clinical practice. And Lynn's done that probably better than almost anyone. There are very few things that are more rewarding in life than really helping someone to reach their goals, whether it's students in a classroom or PhD students getting their PhDs, but a patient in the clinic being able to walk without pain the first time. You know, those are the kinds of things that Lynn has certainly helped to do.
Her passion at its core is about helping people, whomever it is that needs help. She, in every facet of her life, her professional life, her personal life, her charitable endeavors, just wants to help the world be a better place and wants, most importantly, to help people who need the most help.
Because of her legacy of groundbreaking research in physical therapy and sports medicine and profound impact on the lives of countless individuals, we are proud to induct Dr. Lynn Snyder-Mackler into the Delaware Women's Hall of Fame.
She said, we'll pass that to my daughter. Really, thank you to the Women's Hall of Fame Committee and everyone here for honoring all of us. No one starts her career planning for this moment, you know, but I'm just so very thankful to be here and to be here being honored by all of you. And Tracy, I know I'm standing between you and the Phillies, so I'm going to keep it. I'm still okay? Who am I? I'm a physical therapist. Everybody's said that already. That's always my first answer. But I'm also a mother, a wife, a sister, a grandmother. And the past years have held a lifetime of events and emotions, graduations, travels, weddings, births, and deaths, all surrounded by the blessing of ordinary days that, well, are never really ordinary. No one achieves great success by herself. My family, right, many of whom are here today, and those who've fallen off the raft are my heart. My son Alexander and his wife Laura, and my precious grandchildren, my son Noah and his wife Kelsey, my sister and Scott's sister, Michael's children, Jen and David, and my husband Michael, my partner in work and life. They have all contributed to my personal and professional success, and I would be remiss, especially in this room, if I omitted the late Lenny Markell, who never minced words and let me know whenever she thought I needed a course correction. As many of you know, didn't hold back. I had many mentors over the years, some terrific high school teachers and driven classmates who made me better. coaches, teammates, and serendipity at Hopkins, where I fell in love with sports medicine. Great professors at Penn PT School, an introduction to serious research in the neuromuscular research lab at BU, where I pursued my doctorate. And then all this led me to Delaware, and the perfect storm of colleagues back there, opportunity and support. It made my career and the rocket ship that is UDPT and clinic reach stratospheric heights. In life and professionally, we look to those who inspire us, who led. They asked us to talk a little bit about mentors. We all have professional forebears. To my group of young faculty struggling to become clinical researchers in the 1980s, our mentor encouraged our participation in professional association activities. He urged us to attend meetings. He implored us to help each other, as scattered as we were across the country. You need cronies, he would say. Back then, long-distance calls cost money. There were times, as we were finishing our dissertations, that we ran up hundreds of dollars of phone bills. There was no internet, but we made a network. We kept in touch, we supported each other, and we still do. I've had two great missions in my professional life. First, to figure out why the thigh muscles don't work after knee surgery and how to make them work better. And training larger numbers of physical therapists and clinician scientists, mentoring and supporting them in rich clinical research environments, and setting the bars high for their productivity. In 1980, I submitted my first big grant to the NIH, and it was scored on the bubble. Terry Shimoleski, then a graduate student in the lab, was so much fun to mentor. She would hide fun goals in her progress reports to me, like dance like Janet Jackson, in between getting my specialist certification and publishing my first paper. She and I worked on the resubmission as the funding cycle came and went on the bubble proposal. One of her other non-science serious goals was to go to Rome to see the Polish Pope. Well, in the middle of the chaos, away she went. And when she returned to no news on the grant, she said, "I'm offering my papal blessing to the grant proposal." Well, a few days later, the project officer called from the NIH and said they'd found some extra money and the grant was going to be funded. A few years back, I was tempted to submit it to the Vatican as evidence of one of the miracles required for Pope John Paul II's beatification. There are tons of great lessons in this story for mentors in this story. Have a sense of humor. Don't give up. The only way to be sure you don't succeed is not to try. Be nice to those you mentor. Believe in them so they can believe. All their goals are important to them. Your job is to help them triage and prioritize, but don't squash them. Most of my PhD students have been women. 2/3 of PT students are women, while approximately 60% of the core faculty are women. We comprise less than 50% of the tenure track faculty and even fewer of the tenured positions. So in the interest of full disclosure, I'd like to talk a little bit about the illusion of work-life balance and the importance of fulfilling work in a full and happy life of an individual and family. First, if you think all of us who are here on the stage always keep our various balls in the air, you are seeing the illusion. We often keep the balls in the air, but the ones that fall are just hidden from view, dented, and momentarily forgotten. We are here because we play to our strengths and find teammates, family members, babysitters, friends, colleagues, graduate students, and others among them, whose contributions complement our own at work and at home. Johns Hopkins professor and Nobel Prize winner Carol Greeter was, by many accounts, including hers, folding laundry and about to head off to an early morning spin class when she got the call from Sweden. According to the Washington Post, several days later, when she heard that President Obama had won the Nobel Peace Prize, she thought to herself, "I bet he wasn't folding laundry." I love my family and my work, but I was no good at decorating birthday cakes or making collages. Thanks to babysitters and preschool teachers and the bakery, my kids had birthday cakes and paper turkeys on the windows at Thanksgiving. They also had trips around the world and met lots of interesting people at home and abroad, because the things I am good at gave me and my family opportunities. Now I have a little segue here. This does not always assuage the yearnings of a 6-year-old. We are moving Alexander and Laura out of the home where our family has lived for 2 generations. And yesterday, I found these 2 notes to me from Alexander from the semester I spent finishing my dissertation, spending weekdays in Boston. Dear Mom, I miss you when you are on your trip to Boston, and I am going to miss you on the week after next week. I love you very much. I love you, and I want you to stay home, Mom. I do. So really, it was a little more traumatic than they let on. We all have our successes and failures, our ups and downs, but realize we can't do it alone. Perseverance does you well, but it only goes so far. Working really, really hard and digging in to solve problems doesn't ensure success. You can do that, do it well, and fail spectacularly. To survive in a ferociously competitive culture, it depends on strategic alliances. To advance, a young scientist needs to get included in significant projects, preferably with an established mentor. This is our job as mentors, to include them, to share, to introduce those that we mentor to others who can help them succeed. I've spent my professional life, first as a clinician and for the past 35 years as a clinician scientist, in a challenging and supportive environment with leaders who set high expectations for all and value their ideas. I've been supported by department chairs and deans, both of whom are here tonight, in an institution that shared our department vision and invested in our clinical and research excellence. I have, as my former mentor admonished, cronies in and outside of the institution. I think it's unsurprising that I've been successful. So don't try to be perfect. Don't try to keep all the balls in the air. One will always be lying on the floor broken. Rest assured, you can always pick it up, smush it back together, and throw it back in the air, and almost no one will notice. Just don't let it always be the same one. So be solid, do your best. Find a good team to lead or to be part of. Use your talents, work hard and effectively. Make an impact. Indeed, there are challenges to an academic life, but nowhere else could I have turned a young clinician's wonder about why the thigh muscles don't work after knee surgery into a fulfilling and successful career. Thank you.
Thank you, Lynn. Thank you and congratulations to all our inductees. To our audience, we thank you, many of you, we've heard our mentors and friends and family, for being with us for our 42nd annual Delaware Women's Hall of Fame. And I'd like to thank the governor for the honor of chairing the Delaware Women's Hall of Fame as I complete my 6th, and as you heard from whatever name we want to use for Tracy. I was just to say my friend, and then I thought, well, there are others of you that might claim me as a friend, as I complete my 6th and final year of service. Thank you.
And thank you, Kay, for your leadership and dedication. As a token of our appreciation, we would like to present these flowers to you. Please join me in thanking Kay for all her hard work. Congratulations to all the 2023 inductees to the Delaware Women's Hall of Fame. This concludes our event. Good night and safe travels.